Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Your Excellencies, members of the SDG Steering Committee, esteemed participants of the Global Education Meeting. And thank you, Director Manos, Director Sylvia, for allowing SEAMEO to share our progress on regional benchmarks. Like all other countries, the countries in Asia and the Pacific also committed in 2015 to establish benchmarks for SDG 4 indicators. The regional benchmark exercise brings us unique opportunity for regional bodies like SEAMEO, organizations, partners, countries to further strengthen the regional collaboration and coordination and further promote our regional and national commitments towards achieving SDGs. In the Asia-Pacific region, UIS partnered with UNESCO Bangkok and a Learning and Education 2030 Plus networking group in establishing regional benchmarks for the region. As you know, Asia-Pacific region is very diverse and have multiple education frameworks. And it was agreed that we will undertake an exercise at sub-regional levels. Therefore, since then, a strong partnership, collaboration have been established with sub-regional bodies such as the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, or SEAMEO, SAARC, the Pacific countries, and ASEAN to really make exercise relevant at the sub-regional levels. I think this approach helped to make regional benchmarks process more relevant and link directly with sub-regional education framework. And of course, affirming objectives and targets with the ministries of education and relevant agencies. As an example, for SEAMEO, we have developed the SEAMEO Strategic Plan 2021 to 2030, covering Southeast Asian countries. And in that, you will also see our priority areas, as well as targets and indicators closely linked with SDGs. For the South Asian countries, the SAARC framework for action was developed for 2016 to 2030. This covers SDG relevant targets and indicators for South Asian countries. There was also the Pacific Regional Education Framework 2018 to 2030, covering the Pacific countries. And of course, the ASEAN Work Plan on Education was developed, covering also Southeast Asian countries, and this plan was developed every 5 years. So we work together collaboratively. And in order to undertake benchmarks, of course, the technical team composed of representatives from UNESCO Bangkok, UNICEF East Asia Pacific Regional Office, UNICEF ROSA, UIS, of course, SPC, SEAMEO, and even civil society, ASBE, coordinated and communicated various activities under this benchmarking exercise. In the process of establishing regional benchmarks, we have organized at least 5 sub-regional technical consultations already. And the countries expressed their support to the benchmarking process and acknowledge its importance for achieving and monitoring SDG 4 at the national, and of course for us at the regional level. Apart from technical consultation, the regional benchmarks were also presented and discussed in various sub-regional high-level forums and meetings. So for example, for SEAMEO, we had our strategic plan consultation meetings, even involving think tanks from the region. Since 2019, the SEAMEO Education Congress, where you have been invited to join, the SEAMEO Council of Ministers meeting just last June 17, the ASEAN Senior Officials meeting, and the Forum of Education Ministers meeting, or FEDM. Online country consultations was organized just last June to agree on and to collect further comments, inputs on regional minimum benchmarks and additional region-specific benchmark indicators for the SDG 4. The countries agreed with the regional minimum benchmarks for all the proposed indicators. And the region has also agreed that, national level benchmarks will be established along the way by organizing national level consultation by second half of this year.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank
Ethel.
you. Thank you very much, UIS and GEM, for leading the work and being with us every step of the way.